Hi, my name is Jason Smith, and I'm one of the creators of Wizardz Bluff. And in this video, I wanted to go over some of the new changes that we have made in Wizardz Bluff. And it's basically directed at those fans of Wizardz Bluff that have played it before at a previous convention, but have not had the opportunity to play the newest rules. So I want to go over some of those new rules. The first rule that really changes the game is that cards, instead of being played simultaneously as they were before, cards are played in turn order. We start with the headmaster, and players take turns laying down cards face down, and then placing spellstones on top of it. The next player does the same, and so on. Once everyone is done laying down their cards and stones, cards are flipped. This differs again from the previous simultaneous play, where cards could be taken back into the hand and exchanged with another one before the headmaster called out flip. And still the same, the highest card will take all the spellstones that were played. The next rule that you'll find different in the new Wizardz Bluff is that when there is a tie, we only have one duel. And what I mean by that is, if there is a tie for the highest card, those players still will call out either a duel or a truce. If both agree to a truce, stones are in the pot are divided up equally by the players closest to the headmaster, going around clockwise. That person actually will pick out the stone first, and then each player drafts the rest of the stones in an equal manner. If there are any stones left over due to unequal numbers, those remaining stones are left in the pot to be won by the winner of the next match. So a duel is when one or more of the players involved in the tie went to duel. And a duel consists of playing another transformation card, so one of the animal cards, and spellstones on top of that. A duel resolves just like a match, with all the same rules applying, but with only one. But it is only between the tying players, and is technically still considered part of that match in which the players tied. And the winner takes all the stones of the full match, including the ones played in the duel. If dueling wizards tie again, this is where it differs from the previous rules. Those wizards agree to a truce, dividing up the pot, as previously mentioned. So they don't continue to play cards, tying and tying and tying again. Play then continues to the next match. So no dueling wizards that do not have any transformation cards or spellstones to play automatically lose the duel, just like previously, if they're challenged to a duel. The next rule that has changed is playing more than one spellstone. So players now are able to play up to 3 spellstones each match. So after laying down their card face down, they can add 1, 2, or 3 gems of any color combination. Furthermore, once all players have laid down their cards and their first bet, the match will continue where players can add more gems. They may not remove their card played or any previous gems, but they can add gems up to a total of 3. So you could start off by adding 1 gem, goes around, everyone does their choice, and it comes back to you. You can add more gems to that as part of kind of a bluff if you wish. If you choose not to add more stones, you can always pass. Once a player passes, they may not add any more stones that match. Play continues until all players have done one of the 2 things. Either they've passed or they've added 3 stones. At that point, cards are flipped and compared. The next rule that has changed is winning spell cards. So previously, we would get spell cards by playing an Alchemist card. And that was like how you would shop at the Alchemist Shop. It's no longer that way. So players who guess correctly the winning card or animal will be rewarded 1 spell card for every spellstone they played that matches the winning card. So what I mean by that is, again, this is directed at those who have played before, red stones, when played, are suggesting that you are betting that a dragon will win because it's marked on that card. Everyone's dragon card is marked with a red stone. If it were a unicorn that you're betting on winning, you're going to play a green stone. Air stones or white stones are for Griffin, and blue stones are for the Plague Rat. So when you when you guess correctly, again, you're going to be rewarded by getting a spell card in that color. So if Dragon wins and you bet red stones, for every red stone you've bet, you're going to get a Fire Elemental spell card. Okay? And those are a little bit different. Previous ones did not have colors. These new spell cards are now divided out into their elements. So that's actually the next rule that I was going to talk about here. Spell cards are divided up by elements. At the beginning of the game, spell cards are set up in 4 stacks or decks of their appropriate color or element. So you have fire for red, green for earth, white for air, and blue for water. When a player places a stone that matches the winning card, they are awarded a respective colored spell card. Yeah, I've already explained the example there about the dragon. The next rule is we've actually added gold stones. So now the gold gem icon has been added to cards 3 through 9. So these are the lower end of the cards, and it just gives it a little bit more potency of those numbers. Number 1, you're not just betting on one card to win. You can win with any of those cards by playing gold. And when a card 3 through 9 wins the match, every player that played a gold stone is awarded a spell card of the color of their choice. Okay? So if I want to collect red, I can do that with red stones, like when dragon wins, or by playing gold and a 3 through a 9 wins. Okay? So very interesting rule that adds a very, very, very cool dynamic. The next rule is the Alchemist Shop. So the Alchemist Shop has changed. It no longer is a bunch of items that you can buy. Instead, it is what you normally think of as an alchemist. An alchemist, historically, people would see as someone who is trying to find a way to change things into gold. So you don't start the game off with gold. Okay, so everyone draws from a bag of gems, and in this bag is only the 4 elemental colors. The gold is placed off to the side, and you can get gold by playing the Alchemist card. You play it like normal. Whatever stones you play onto the Alchemist card are lost to the winner, and from the stones that you have already collected in your collection, you can trade up to 3 of them for a ratio of 1-to-1 into gold. So if I chose 3 reds, I can give them to the Alchemist, and then the Alchemist will give me stones back. And that's not necessarily a player that's the Alchemist. It's simply that's the shop that you go to. And with all of those gems that you're putting aside over here to the Alchemist, it's added to whatever gems were left over when everyone drew stones from the bag. Anywhere from 8 to another number. And you're adding those other extra gems to that. And there's another card, the Snake card. So let me show you what the Snake card looks like now. It has this little icon on it, okay, which signifies that win or lose, this snake can go over to the Alchemist Shop and steal 3 of the colored gems, the elemental gems, for free. Okay, so again, whatever cards, stones you play onto the snake card are lost to the winner, but from you can go now to the Alchemist Shop and steal 3 more to put into your collection. The next rule that has changed is the cards, the elemental cards. These are spell cards. Here's the backs of them. So they all have different colored backs. So when you're holding them, this is actually public information. People can see these, and that's okay. We want that. But I wanted to direct your attention to these little icons in the corner. So there are 4 new icons that have been added to this to help players know when they can play this. Okay, it's just the constraints, the time constraints during a match when they can play this. So for instance, this is the first symbol, which is this dotted line of a card, like as if a card is going to be there. Well, that's because this is played before cards are laid down. So before the headmaster plays their card first, you're going to be able to play that card. And then the next one is this symbol, which is kind of this black card. Okay, and it has an arrow going to it, saying that something has to happen before the cards are flipped. So that one is play before cards are flipped. So everyone has played their cards out face down, and they're about ready to flip them, and then the headmaster's going to give it a little moment to say, hey, does anyone have these cards there, that they can play them right then. You apologize if you hear my kids stomping in the background. The next icon is this one, which looks like one of the cards face up, and then something happens afterwards. So that's what the arrow means. Meaning after cards are flipped, you can play this card. And the last one is this hourglass, which signifies that this card can be played at any time during the match. And you can play as many cards as you want. We have that question a lot. You play as many cards as you want as long as they fit. There are some exclusions. Some cards actually say you cannot play it with a certain other spell card. So the next rule that we've added is building mage levels. Now this is an exciting thing that we've had a lot of requests about when we first introduced Wizard's Bluff. And this is how we've accomplished this, this request. So here is a mage level tracker for the White Wizard, Zurif the Wise. You have fire on this side, earth on this side, water down here, and air. And you put clips into the one here. And they all are, that means that you are a level 1 fire, earth, water, and air mage at the beginning of the game. And progressively through the game, you're going to be able to increase those. And the way that you increase those is by using those spell cards we mentioned. So when you play a card, a spell card, okay, you're going to take them and put them down face down in front of you. Now it's a one-time use, so you can't use it again. But you put it down face up in front of you, and this represents your magic inventory. When you've collected 3 of one color, we call that an elemental spell book. Okay, and what you're going to do is once it's collected, you're going to do 2 actions. The first action is you're going to put them on the bottom of the respective deck. Okay, you're going to score 1 point for every card that you did that to. Okay, those are the victory points. And then the second action you're going to do is come to your mage tracker, and for, in this case for green, you're going to increase your current level by 1 level. So if I was at level 1 and I turned in some 3 greens, I'm going to make it to level 2, and I can keep doing that over and over and over again. The next thing, and I'll explain what that means in just a little bit. So I think I have one more rule before that. The next rule is the ending conditions for the game. So we used to play over a series of 3 rounds where everyone would get rid of their cards, we collect up our cards, we score points, we do that again, we do that again, and then the game would be over. Now, the game ends after 1 round. So the game ends when 1 or more players is out of cards or spellstones. There's only, like I said, 1 round of cards, not multiples. And sometimes during a demo, though, we'll even reduce that 1 match of typically 12 cards down to like a 7 card match. And just gets things going quicker. And so sometimes we'll do that at like conventions to do more demos. So in that case, those players would not play 5 of their cards. And the last rule that I wanted to kind of go over is the end of game scoring. So at the end of the game, all players place their unused spell cards, so the ones that they have been having in their hand, they're going to place the unused ones down to the table into their magic inventory. Now, these are used to complete any elemental spell books that they can. If a spell book is completed, increase that player's mage level for that element. Next, you're going to score you're going to score 1 victory point for every one of those spell cards. So the ones that you just completed, and also the ones that are not yet do not yet complete a spell book. Okay, and then lastly, you're going to look at each. You're going to look at each spellstone, and each spellstone is going to be worth the value of the wizard's respective elemental mage level. So if a wizard attained level 3 in their fire or their red level, every firestone is going to be worth 3 points. And here's the best part. In addition to those, gold scores at your highest mage level. So those are the extra rule, the new rules that we have included in Wizardz Bluff. This will be the ones that will be going to Kickstarter in the fall. And if you are at a game convention where we're not there to explain the rules, you can use this video to help understand how to play a little bit about Wizardz Bluff. Now, this doesn't go over all the rules, so you'll have to go and see one of our other videos that talks about how to play Wizardz Bluff and how to set it up. One last thing. There is a video on YouTube where we talk about the elemental spell cards that we have them face up. We don't do that anymore. We just put them face down. Okay, so you're just drawing from the top of the card. You don't know what you're drawing, but you do know what color you're drawing. And that's the more important thing sometimes. So again, if you have any questions, my name is Jason Smith, and you can reach me at Jason Smith RN. That's JaysonSmithrn for registered nurse. That's what I am. At live.com. So that's JasonSmithRN at live.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Wizard Jason. That's Jason with a Y again. Wizard Jason. And you can also find our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Wizardz Bluff. And again, that's Wizards with a Z. Thank you.